Ladies and gentlemen, life will test you, people will doubt you, circumstances will try to bend you. But let me tell you something today, they can't break you unless you let them. Every single one of us carries inside a fire. Some call it courage, some call it faith, and some call it resilience. That fire is the reason you are still standing after everything life has thrown at you. The world doesn't decide how strong you are, you do. Yes, there will be critics. There will be people who laugh at your dreams, who call you foolish for trying, who throw stones at your confidence. But understand this, those voices only have power if you hand it to them. If you stop, if you quit, if you surrender, that's when they win. History remembers not the people who never faced obstacles, but those who refused to break under them. The storms came, but they held firm. The walls closed in, but they pushed harder. The odds were impossible, yet they rose above them. So the question is not, will life challenge me? Because it will. The real question is, will I allow those challenges to define me? Or will I rise unbroken, unstoppable? Let your scars be your medals. Let your setbacks be your lessons. Let your pain become your power. Because every time you choose to stand tall, every time you choose to keep going when quitting would be easier, you prove the world wrong. And remember this, you are stronger than you think. You are braver than you believe. You are more powerful than anyone ever gave you credit for. They can push you, they can doubt you, they can try to bury you, but they can't break you unless you let them. So stand tall, my friends, protect your fire, guard your spirit, and walk through life knowing this truth, you are unbreakable. Your inner strength is greater than outside pressure. No challenge, no critic, no failure can truly break you unless you surrender your inner power. Critics only win if you give them permission. Negative voices, doubt, and judgment hold no real control unless you allow them to shape your choices. Setbacks are lessons, not defeats. Every failure carries wisdom. Use it as fuel, not as a chain. Pain can be transformed into power. The struggles you endure can become the very source of your strength and resilience. Resilience defines champions' greatness, is not about avoiding obstacles, but about refusing to break under them. You are unbreakable when you decide to be. The final choice always lies with you. No one can destroy your spirit unless you hand them the key. Your inner strength is greater than outside pressure. Life will always try to test you with trials, storms, and battles that feel heavier than your shoulders can carry. People will question your worth. Situations will shake your confidence, and sometimes even your own mind will whisper that you are not enough. But let me remind you, those forces outside of you are never as powerful as the strength already living inside of you. The world can throw stones, but it cannot determine how you respond. The fire in your heart, the resilience in your spirit, that is what decides the outcome. Think about it. When a storm hits a mountain, does the mountain move? No. The storm rages, the winds howl, the rains pour, but the mountain stands tall. You are that mountain. The pressure of the outside world may scream at you, but it cannot erase your foundation unless you allow it to. Your foundation is built on every struggle you've overcome, every tear you've shed, every failure you've turned into a lesson. That foundation is unshakable if you choose to believe in it. Too often, we hand our power over to other people's opinions. Someone mocks us, and suddenly we question our dream. Someone doubts us, and suddenly we doubt ourselves. But here's the truth. Their voice only has weight if you give it space in your soul. The real battle is not what they say about you. It's what you believe about yourself. You can't control what the world throws at you, but you can control whether you stand or collapse. That choice is always yours. Pressure is not always an enemy. Pressure can create diamonds. When life presses you down, when it pushes you to your limits, it's actually building you, shaping you, refining you into something stronger. Every test is an invitation to rise. Every obstacle is proof that you're being prepared for something greater. The outside world doesn't have the final say. Your inner strength does. Remember this. Courage is not about never feeling fear. Strength is not about never falling. True strength is about standing back up again and again, no matter how hard the fall. It's about looking pressure in the eye and saying, "You will not break me," because you are not defined by what happens to you. You are defined by how you respond. When you realize that your inner strength outweighs outside pressure, you become untouchable. People can talk, problems can rise, storms can rage, but none of them can dictate your destiny. You carry within you a spirit that cannot be crushed, a fire that cannot be extinguished, a will that refuses to bow. That is the real power, that is the truth. They cannot break you. Not now, not ever, because the strength within you is far greater than the pressure around you. Critics only win if you give them permission. The world is full of voices, and not all of them will cheer for you. Some will doubt your ability, some will laugh at your dreams, and some will try to convince you that you are not capable of achieving greatness. But let me make this clear, those voices cannot stop you unless you let them into your heart. Their words are just sounds, but when you start believing them, when you let them sit in your mind, that's when they gain power. The real battlefield is not outside, it is inside your head. Think about it. A critic can say, "You'll never make it," but those are just words. They have no legs, no hands, no strength. What gives those words life is your agreement with them. The moment you start saying to yourself, "Maybe they're right," you have given them permission to shape your future. And once you give them permission, you start doubting, you start hesitating, and eventually you start quitting. That's how critics win, not because they were stronger than you, but because you handed them the keys to your confidence. The truth is, no one can define you unless you allow them to. People see only a part of your story, a glimpse of your journey, a snapshot of your struggle. They don't know the battles you've fought silently, the sacrifices you've made, the fire you've walked through to stand where you are today. So why should their limited view of you decide your destiny? Their opinion is not your reality. Their doubt is not your truth. You see, every great person who ever achieved something remarkable was once laughed at, criticized, or told it couldn't be done. From inventors to leaders to dreamers, they all faced critics. The difference between those who broke down and those who broke through was this: they didn't give permission. They didn't allow outside noise to silence the voice within. They chose to trust their vision, their faith, their work, more than the doubts of others. Criticism can only discourage you if you value it more than your own belief. The moment you decide, "I am in charge of my destiny," not their words, you take back your power. The critics can talk all day, but their voices will fall silent when faced with your actions. Remember, results silence critics faster than arguments ever could. So the next time someone doubts you, smile. The next time someone mocks your dream, keep moving. The next time someone says, "You can't," tell yourself, "Watch me." Because critics are powerless without your consent. They don't hold the pen to your story, you do, and as long as you refuse to hand them that pen, they can never write your ending. Setbacks are lessons, not defeats. Every single person who has ever walked the path of greatness has stumbled, fallen, and faced moments where everything seemed lost. But here's the difference: those who rise don't see a setback as the end. They see it as a chapter, a classroom, a teacher. Failure doesn't come to bury you. It comes to shape you, to prepare you for the weight of the success you are destined to carry. When you fall, it hurts. When plans collapse, when doors close, when people walk away, it feels like life itself has betrayed you. But in those painful moments, life is whispering, "There is something here for you to learn." And if you listen, if you search, you will always find the lesson hidden beneath the pain. The setback becomes a seed, and if you nurture it, it grows into wisdom, resilience, and strength you would have never known otherwise. Think about it. Every time you failed, you discovered a new way not to quit. Every mistake you made showed you how to do it better next time. Every disappointment taught you patience, persistence, and the art of rising when staying down would have been easier. If life only gave you victories, you would never learn how strong you truly are. It is the setbacks that carve out the warrior in you. Most people stop at failure because they confuse it with defeat, but failure is not defeat, it is feedback. It's the world saying, "Not this way, try another." Defeat happens only when you stop listening, when you stop moving, when you surrender. But if you see the setback as information, as training, as growth, then you are never truly defeated. You are simply being redirected toward a stronger, wiser, better version of yourself. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in history were born out of setbacks. Light was discovered after darkness. Cures were found after countless failed experiments. Success often hides behind a mountain of failures, waiting for the one who is stubborn enough, hungry enough, strong enough to keep climbing. The ones who quit will never know what's on the other side, but the ones who rise again will one day look back and say, "That setback was the best thing that ever happened to me." So the next time you stumble, don't curse the ground, don't call yourself a failure. Instead, ask, what is this moment teaching me? How can this make me better? How can I use this to fuel my next step? That shift in perspective is what separates the broken from the unbreakable. Understand this: setbacks are not the end of your story. They are the sharpening of your sword. They are the training ground for the greatness inside you. As long as you refuse to stay down, as long as you see every fall as preparation, you will rise stronger, smarter, and more determined than ever before. Remember, setbacks are not defeats. They are the stepping stones that carry you to victory. Pain can be transformed into power. Every human being carries wounds. Some are visible, many are hidden deep within. Pain comes in many forms: heartbreak, betrayal, loss, failure, disappointment, rejection. It cuts, it burns, it leaves scars on the soul. But here's the truth that separates the broken from the unstoppable. Pain is not meant to destroy you, it is meant to build you. What hurts you today can become the very source of your strength tomorrow. Think about the strongest people you know. They did not become strong because life was easy. They became strong because life tested them, stretched them, and forced them to endure battles they thought they couldn't survive. Their strength was born out of pain, and that is the secret. You can let pain crush you, or you can let it carve you into someone unshakable. Pain has energy. It burns like fire. If you let it consume you, it leaves only ashes. But if you learn to direct it, to use it, that same fire can forge you into steel. Every heartbreak can teach you self-worth. Every failure can teach you persistence. Every loss can teach you gratitude for what remains. The pain itself is not the end. It is the raw material. You decide whether it weakens you or fuels you. Most people run from pain. They numb it, hide it, pretend it isn't there. But growth begins when you face it head on. When you sit with it and say, "I will not let you define me. I will let you strengthen me," the weight you carry can become your workout. The struggle you endure can become your training ground. Pain transforms into power the moment you decide it will not break you, it will build you. History is filled with people who turned suffering into greatness. Leaders who were once oppressed, inventors who were once rejected, dreamers who were once mocked. Their power came not despite their pain, but because of it. They turned tears into determination, rejection into resilience, wounds into wisdom. And so can you. You see, pain is proof that you are alive, that you are still in the fight. It is a reminder that your story is not finished yet. Every scar you carry is not a sign of weakness, but a badge of survival. It means you went through fire and came out standing. And every time you rise from pain, you rise stronger, braver, and more unstoppable than before. So don't curse the pain. Don't see it as punishment. See it as a tool, a teacher, a hidden source of power. Let it push you, not paralyze you. Let it ignite you, not imprison you. Because when you learn to turn your pain into power, nothing can stop you. You become a living testimony that even in the darkest nights, light can be born. That even from the deepest wounds, greatness can rise. Resilience defines champions. When we look at the people we admire most in life, whether they are leaders, athletes, innovators, or everyday heroes, we often focus on their victories, their shining moments, their glory. But what truly defines them is not the moment they stood on the podium or when the world applauded them. What defines them is the countless moments when nobody was watching, when they were broken, tired, and ready to give up, but didn't. Champions are not made in the spotlight, they are forged in the shadows of resilience. Resilience is the ability to bend without breaking, to stumble without staying down, to be knocked to your knees and still find the strength to rise again. Life will hit you hard, sometimes harder than you ever imagined. It will test your limits, strip away your comfort, and challenge everything you thought you could handle. But in those moments, resilience whispers, "Get back up. You are not finished yet." That whisper, that decision to rise, is what separates winners from quitters. Think about a tree in a storm. The winds howl, the rains pound, and everything tries to uproot it. A weak tree will snap. But a resilient tree bends, sways, absorbs the force, and when the storm passes, it still stands. That's resilience. And that is exactly what life demands of you, not perfection, not a flawless journey, but the courage to bend without breaking. Resilience does not mean you won't feel pain. It does not mean you won't cry, doubt, or question yourself. It means that even in those moments of weakness, you hold on to a thread of strength and say, "This is not where my story ends." Champions are not people who never fall, they are people who refuse to stay down. Every setback you endure, every hardship you survive, every obstacle you overcome adds to the muscle of your resilience. It is like training. Every time you get back up, you grow stronger. Every time you choose persistence over surrender, you are building the unshakable foundation of a champion. That foundation becomes your armor, your shield, your silent power. The truth is, talent can open doors, luck can give you opportunities, and even hard work can take you far. But only resilience guarantees that you will keep moving when everything else seems lost. It is resilience that keeps you alive in the fight long enough to win. It is resilience that makes sure your story ends in victory, not defeat. So the next time life knocks you down, and it will remember this, the fall does not define you, the rise does. Champions are not crowned because they never faced pain. They are crowned because they never let pain have the final word. And as long as you keep rising, no matter how many times you fall, you carry the heart of a champion within you. That is resilience, that is victory, that is what defines true greatness. You are unbreakable when you decide to be. Strength is not something the world hands to you. It's something you choose deep inside yourself. Life doesn't ask for your permission before it throws storms your way. It doesn't knock politely before it tests you with loss, betrayal, rejection, or failure. But no matter what life brings, the final decision always belongs to you. Will you allow it to crush you, or will you decide that nothing can break you? Being unbreakable is not about being invincible. It's not about pretending you don't feel pain or fear. It's about refusing to let those feelings control your destiny. It's about saying, "Yes, I am hurt. Yes, I am tired. Yes, I am scared, but I will not stop. I will not surrender." That decision, that inner vow, makes you stronger than any challenge you face. The truth is, nobody can break your spirit unless you hand them the power. Circumstances can shake you, but they cannot define you. People can doubt you, but they cannot decide your future. Even failure itself cannot destroy you unless you accept it as the end. You hold the pen that writes your story. The choice to stand, to rise, to keep moving. That choice is yours, and it's the choice that makes you unbreakable. Think of a warrior walking into battle. The weapons of the enemy may be stronger, the odds may be against them, but if that warrior decides, deep in the soul, "I will not break," then even if they fall, they rise again. That decision is power. That decision is freedom. That decision is what makes a human being unstoppable. Being unbreakable is not about avoiding storms, it's about learning to dance in the rain. It's not about never falling, it's about rising every single time. It's not about having an easy path, it's about walking the hard path with courage, even when your legs tremble. The strength is not in the world around you, it is in the choice you make every day to keep going. Once you decide you are unbreakable, nothing can defeat you. Problems become challenges. Failures become teachers, pain becomes fuel. Every blow that tries to shatter you only sharpens you. Every trial that tries to bury you only plants you deeper so you can rise stronger. And when the world looks at you and says, "How are you still standing?" you'll smile and say, "Because I decided I would not break." So remember this truth: unbreakable is not something you are born with, it's something you choose. Every morning you rise, every time you wipe away your tears, every time you take one more step forward when quitting would be easier, you are proving that nothing and no one can break you without your permission. And as long as you carry that decision in your heart, you are, and always will be, unbreakable.